Whew. Okay, we're back. We're back live. Welcome, everyone. Okay, it's part 3. We're going to be talking about male and female spirits. The relationship of the spirit between sons of God regarding marriages. Many people will speak about physical marriages, but our Father is a spirit, and He's only speaking something that's spiritual and something that is going to be seen over and over again. Him and us, and the people that are on this earth that we're supposed to connect with. Okay. When you go, a good thing to do is go back and listen to the lesson that I did. I'm going to bring out just a special part of that lesson, which is called What God Joins Together. Speaking of marriages, relationships. Now, man was not taken out of woman. Understand that. Man wasn't taken out of the woman. It tells us that. We read that in, I think it was, I forgot where I read it at exactly, but it was in Corinthians. And it was 1 Corinthians 11, verses 11 and 12. So what does the Father mean by telling us that man wasn't taken out of woman? We know that when it comes to Him, we are His children, and we came from Him. We gave the example in Jeremiah, where Jeremiah was talking with the Father, and he said, Jeremiah, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. You were with me. We can get also that revelation in Ephesians, where it talks about we were with the Father in heavenly places. We have 2 locations. And not only that, but in Genesis, it specifically tells us that we come from our Father. So if we know we come from our Father, and it tells us that man didn't come from the woman, but the woman from the man, let's find out what he's talking about, because this talks about a spiritual marriage. Many people read in Genesis and read right over it. Our Father tells us in Genesis 2 concerning the spiritual creation of Adam and Eve. And that's what it was. What was in the world on day 6? It's in the world today. This book is not about that. This book is about us. It's our history book. So he tells us in Genesis chapter 2, and I'm going to skim. You got the Bible, you can read the whole thing. I'm skimming to the verses that will make this flow for you, okay? Genesis chapter 2, verse 1. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the 7th day, God ended His work which He had made. And He rested on the 7th day from all His work which He had made. Verse 5. And every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew, for the Lord had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. This is day 7. There wasn't a man to till the ground. Verse 7. And the Lord God formed man from the dust of the ground, and He breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, the Spirit, just like He gave Jeremiah. I knew you, Jeremiah, before I formed you in your mother's womb. So He says that this man became a living soul. His mind was now towards the Father. Verse 18. And the Lord God said, it is not good that man should be alone, because all you saw on the 7th day was the creation of Adam with the Spirit. There wasn't anything else like Adam at this point on the 7th day. So He says, I will make him a helpmeet. Verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And He took one of the ribs and closed up the flesh thereof, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made He a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh. She should be called woman, because she was taken out of man. There you go. Old covenant, renewed covenant, lining up. The man wasn't taken out of the woman, but the woman out of the man. Hope y'all getting this. You can see how He's not changing. He doesn't want us to be destroyed when we go to try to find out the truth. So right here we see an example of that. It says, because this woman would be called woman because she was taken out of the man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. Now, I gave an example. You could look at cell division, because when you go look up that word rib, it'll tell you cell. Well, what is a cell? Think about it. This is what the Father's showing you in the spiritual. Don't think of it fleshly, because you'll never get it. The cell is the same thing as the seed or the spirit. He took something from Adam while he put him in a deep sleep. When you're in a deep sleep, the physical body falls asleep, but not the spirit man. So he took Adam's spirit man and did what is called, with a cell, it went through mitosis. It split. He cut it in half. So he had two spirits. Spirits are sexless. There is no sex on a spirit. But what he did was he took this part of the spirit and looked, I'm going to put it back into the vessel that I have created, that I formed from the dust of the ground, called Adam, and I'm going to place that spirit in Adam. I'm going to take this other half because I want to create him someone who was comparable with him. There's a vessel that now I've created called Eve. Now I'm taking this spirit that was a part of Adam, it's half of Adam, and I'm going to put it in the vessel which people call a woman. Her name was Eve. So there you go. That's a spiritual way the Father looks at his children. You're going to only connect with righteous, what was already prophesied and told to us that we would have a spiritual connection just like our Father. When you read Ephesians, it tells us that love your wives, even as you love yourselves. Why is he saying that? Paul said that. He knew spiritual. Because it is you. This part was put into Adam. This other half of Adam was put into Eve. And it said that the man wasn't taken from the woman, but the woman from the man. But there's the same spirits, just in different vessels. That's why our Father says there's no difference between Jew, between Greek, between male, between females. Because when he's looking, which is how he wants us to look, we're looking at the spirit, not at the vessel. We're not looking at flesh. Paul warned us of the things of the flesh. He said your battle's in the spiritual. Your weapons of warfare are spiritual. The only one out of here that will deceive you by flesh is that old serpent, the devil. You don't see an old serpent or a dragon, the devil. But he's there as a Roman lion looking for those to devour. So we're going to keep armed up in the spirit, fully spiritual. We are, after all, in Ezekiel 37, those dry bones that have now put on the whole armor of God, spoken of in Ephesians 6, that's standing firm, spiritual Israel, because we're equipped to handle what's in this world, things you can't see, but we're reading things that are. So that was the whole lineage of a spiritual marriage, because the purpose, just as the woman came out of the man, the spirit, we as spiritual beings came from above, from the spirit of our Father. And when our Father wanted to come into this dimension, he needed to mediate. So he says, preparest thou me a body. It was prophesied, Emmanuel will come. The Redeemer will come. The King will come. Well, how did he come for his people? Just like his brethren, in vessels. The Spirit of God, boop, a little spirit part of the Father, just like in us, came into this dimension. But this was the Word. This was the mediator. He came just like us. People lie and tell you, oh, immaculate conception. They're bringing you back to the fallen of Genesis 6 for that to happen. They're keeping you in a fallen state. They're having you debate on who's the Father's children. They're having you debate about what is real spiritual warfare, because people are so into what they see. A ghost. Look at the paranormal shows. Oh, well, it's this person. They got on this clothing. It's that person. They got their face fixed up like a witch or a vampire or this. Look, we're not fighting that type of mess. Not that. That's not the real battle. It's what you don't see. We talked about the invisible war yesterday. Those spirits. When the Father made the judgment, which many call the white throne judgment, all he did was judge the spirits. He was only judging of the spirits from him that were on this earth. The rest would be condemned. There's two judgments, but yet one is for all those who are on this earth. Some will rise into everlasting life, and others to everlasting contempt. He told you, let the wicked continue doing wickedly. And they have been, because many people don't know who they are. We're already in the kingdom. It's here. Our Father said, I will never leave you or forsake you. He is in us. Our bodies are temples for his spirit. I hope y'all get this. I really do. Yeah. That's one more session. We're going to end it there. Be back in 5 minutes. Take my little breaks. I need to take my dog outside. So 5 more minutes. I'll be right back, family. We're going to go. The next part we're going to go into is, let's see, Lord God. I've been wanting to bring this up for a long time. This goes into Genesis 1 and 2, letting you know, not by me just reading it, because I've read it before. I've given the explanations for this. But now since you know what the word Lord means. Sarah said husband. So we're going to go into Lord God. This is speaking of Genesis 1 and 2 to let you know who his people are and who are not his people. 5 minutes. Shalom.